Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the process of curriculum design. Um, there are some components to the curriculum design that are very important to students learning and teacher effectiveness that we're going to talk a little bit about, see if we can get a better understanding of what this process model entails. The first component that we're going to talk about is the curriculum design itself. Here you will find something called curriculum mapping. And curriculum mapping is just simply getting together with your colleagues, taking that curriculum, breaking it apart, deciding on how you're going to teach it, when you're going to teach what skills, and then you're also going to build a rapport with your colleagues. Hopefully, you will be able to speak with teachers who have had your students in previous grade levels so that you can understand where your students have left off so that you will know exactly where you need to begin. The curriculum mapping also gives you a time frame, something like a pacing guide that you can use in order to make sure that you are on track with teaching the skills. And if you need to go back, you can still go back, reteach or reassess whenever you need to reteach or reassess something. But it's just important to have a guide so that you're not doing anything um, sporadically. You're taking your time and you know where you are and when you are teaching that skill. Another component would be needs assessment. It is very important to diagnose your students when they are coming in. You want to understand their glows and their grows. If you know what they're strong in, then you know what you can, not to say that you're not going to teach their strengths, but you're going to focus more on where they need the most support in order for them to continue to grow into the learners that they wish to become. So these diagnostic assessments are essential in making sure that you're planning ahead so that you are prepared to teach. Following the diagnostic assessments, you want to also have growth monitoring assessments so that you have current data as to where your students are at all times. So this way you will know if what you're doing is effective or if you need to modify some things. Another component of the process is the learning objectives. The learning objectives will be made based upon your diagnostic assessments because you know where your students are. So then you'll be able to make a measurable goal for you and your students by a certain period of time. Maybe by the next 3 months, or by the middle of the school year, or maybe by the end of the school year, you have some kind of measurable goal in place based upon where your students were when you received them and where you are expecting for them to be by that appointed time. Another component of this learning process would be your teaching methods. It is very important to have clear, defined teaching strategies and teaching methods that you can use in your classroom in order to teach your students. But make sure that these methods are creative and also modifiable because you want to be able to change when you need to change. Not everything should be set in stone. Students learn differently. They all have different cultural backgrounds, and they are coming in to a classroom that should be diverse and ready for them. So your teaching methods have to be diverse as well. Yes, you're going to differentiate and make sure that students receive differentiated instruction to make sure they're learning the same thing at the same time, but on their learning level, I'm sorry. But you also need to ensure that your strategies are differentiated as well. You can't have a blanket approach when teaching a classroom full of future leaders. Another component would be the curriculum implementation. Um, this occurs when you're teaching. So, whenever you implement the curriculum, it is important to make sure that it is intentional, yet again, modifiable, because you want to be effective with everything that you do. In order for you to be effective, your students have to make a connection to what it is that you're teaching. Another component would be the students' learning experiences. And student learning experiences occur during traditional lectures, and they also, again, occur when students are engaged in activities when they're leading themselves. And at this time, you're just going to support them and facilitate their learning. You're not the leader. Although they're learning at their own pace, and they're learning it with their peers. They're actually enjoying their learning experience. That's a good way to build a foundation of creating a lifelong love of learning. Um, and the learning theory that I think works best with the process learning would be the constructivism learning theory. And I say that because this is a learning theory that says that students learn when they are actively involved in the learning process, as opposed to watching others or relying heavily on technology or other tools or other resources. They're actively engaged in what they're learning, and they're relying on what they already know to help them connect to what they need to know. And if you follow these simple steps and remember these components of the curriculum process learning model, you will support your students in becoming the lifelong learners that they wish to become. Our goal as educators is not to only educate them now. We're preparing them for their future. We don't know what these people are going to become when they grow older. And so it is very important that we lay a foundation now while they are in our classrooms, so that when they're out in the world, they are productive citizens and they are contributing to our nation. Thank you and have a wonderful day.